Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Statistically, the Tigers' rotation is one of the best in the American League, and part of that rotation is Alfredo Simon. He is off to a fabulous start in his first year as a Tiger. Big Pasta is in action tonight as the Yankees come to town. Game one in this series featuring the New York Yankees and the Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen. We are glad you are with us here tonight. The Tigers fresh off a 2 out of 3 from the Chicago White Sox. The Yanks come to town routed. Alfredo Simon, really good start his last time out against the Pirates. Hopefully more of the same tonight.
Well, what he's going to have to do today, he's going to have to keep the Yankees off balance with a mixture of different split-fingered fastballs, also some change-ups. Everybody in the starting rotation, for the most part, has been getting it done. Looking forward to watching Simon go out there and do his magic once again tonight.
You know, another guy we're looking forward to watching play is Yoenis Cespedes. Boy, what a game yesterday against the White Sox, including a grand slam. He really now is kind of settling into the Old English stage.
You know, Cespedes appears to be one of those guys, Mario, where you don't really realize how good he is when he's playing for another team, but once you get a chance to watch him, as we have through spring training and now the first 11 games of the year, there's really nothing that this guy can't do on a baseball field. He's got a lot of power, and he's going to hit for average this year. Watching Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez, he's going to have a monster year.
And we look forward to seeing him play again here tonight against the Yanks. After a short break, we send you back to the Coliseum Studios. We'll check in with Johnny Kane coming up in this one here tonight. The Yanks are in town. A-Rod missed all of last year because of suspension. He's back in their lineup and off to a great start. Tigers-Yanks next. Right-hander Alfredo Simon walks out to the mound. The Tigers getting set to take on the New York Yankees tonight, the first of a 3-game series here at the ballpark, a 4-game series actually, as we check out the starting lineup. Before the New York Yankees, brought to you by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off in center field, followed by Brett Gardner in left. A-Rod is the DH tonight for the Yanks, followed by Mark Teixeira. Carlos Beltran is in right field. McCann is their catcher. And their bottom three is Chase Headley, Stephen Drew, and D.D. Gregorius. They are facing Alfredo Simon, presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And first time Tiger fans have seen Simon in the home whites. He's off to a great start this year. Both of those wins have come on the road. The ERA is just a shade over 2. Only 5 strikeouts, 2 base on balls, pitching to a lot of contact, but they're not doing a lot of damage against him. The batting average only 196 against Alfredo. Beaumont Health System will sponsor the Tigers starting D here tonight. Cespedes, Davis, Martinez in the outfield. That would be J.D. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Biggie in the infield. And James McCann, he is catching his 3rd consecutive game.
And we are ready for baseball here tonight. It is a cool and breezy evening here at Comerica Park. Nighttime baseball for the first time. He played some day games last week, and now we're set to go to work. Here's the first pitch of tonight's ball game, and it's a ball outside to Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury, then Gardner, then Alex Rodriguez. Jacoby with the terrific speed has the third baseman Castellanos on the grass. The 1-0 is chopped to the first baseman. That'll be a fair ball, and Miggy tags the bag for the out. 1 away. Well, let's check out the field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company tonight. 52 degrees our game time temp. 61% humidity. It is overcast. They have the tarp on the field most of the afternoon, but hopefully the wet stuff has moved through. See some of that diamond dry that they have put around third base. Field, though, as it normally is, in terrific shape.
Top 2 guys in the New York Yankees batting order have a tremendous amount of speed. That would be Jacoby Ellsbury and now Brett Gardner.
Gardner stands in and looks at ball 1 outside from Simon. Not only that, but both of those guys, Ellsbury and Gardner, can hit the ball out of the ballpark as well.
Yeah, they can.
17 homers last year for Brett Gardner.
Career high.
And Alfredo missing outside. 2 balls, no strikes. There is Alex Rodriguez waiting on deck.
He's been their best hitter so far. First couple of weeks of the 2015 season.
That one's in there for a strike, 2-1.
Simon will give you a mixture of a lot of different pitches. He's got a fastball that will top out at about 95. That's the 4-seam fastball. He'll cut it. He'll sink it at about 90, 91. Curveball, slider, and also a split-fingered fastball.
Popped up left side of the infield. Castellanos drifting a little bit, and there are 2 gone. That'll bring up Alex Rodriguez, who missed all of last year due to the suspension for PEDs. And he is greeted rudely here by the Comerica faithful.
No, they don't like him too much here. Some folks booing just to be booing.
Yes, they are.
They don't even know who Alex Rodriguez is.
A-Rod with 4 home runs already this season. They may not know who he is, but his history is a long and deep one. There's a ground ball foul.
He's been clobbering fastballs. As a matter of fact, he hit a home run in Tampa just a couple of days ago in the dome down there that traveled 471 feet. Longest home run hit so far this year.
A mist is starting to blow in now to the ballpark. The wind is picking up.
They say that this is going to be what we're playing in all night tonight.
Awesome.
Well, they're playing in it.
Yeah, we're in a heated booth. There's a ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on A-Rod.
That's exactly what they will do to Alex Rodriguez here for the next few days. They will show him fastballs all over the strike zone, mostly out of the strike zone, and they will try to get him out with a lot of slow stuff. Here comes another slow breaking ball.
He'll take it, and it missed a little bit low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Simon, a 15-game winner last year over in the National League with the Reds. Looking for the 1-2-3 inning. Swing and a miss.
Nice.
2-2.
Nice breaking ball there, thrown at 87 miles an hour in a fastball count. Nice depth to this slider.
A run with 11 RBIs this year, batting .316 coming in. And he got him strike three. And McCann will throw down to first to complete the strikeout. And that's all for the Yankees. First strikeout of the game for Alfredo Simon. Here come the Tigers. Set to start things off for the Tigers here tonight. Their starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Davis, Kinsler, and Cabrera, your top three tonight. And Miggy, good numbers against CC Sabathia. Victor of the DH, JD Martinez in right, Cespedes in left, Castellanos, McCann, Iglesias, your bottom three. And they are facing, indeed, CC Sabathia.
And different looking CC Sabathia these days. He has not won a game yet this year. He has lost to the ERA. Is approaching 6. No longer does he have that fastball in the mid-90s, right around 89 to 90, but he does have a very good changeup. He has nice breaking balls, and he will use those in fastball counts. That's how he's been striking out so many this year.
So here is Davis starting things off in the Tigers' first inning, trying to get it going here against CC. And he'll look at the fastball outside, 1-0. Davis has hit safely in his last 5, the average at .250 right now. 1 home run and 3 RBIs. Here's the 1-0. That's right at the knees for a strike.
And CC has outstanding command. He has only walked 1 batter so far this year, and he's struck out 15. So he's always around the plate.
Now the 1-1. Rajay lifts that one in the air. Left side of the infield. It's Gregorius drifting.
Let's take a look at the remainder of the New York Yankees starting defensive alignment, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Gardner, Ellsbury, Beltran in the outfield. Gregorius, he was acquired in a trade from the Arizona Diamondbacks and replacing the All-Star Derek Jeter at the shortstop position. Those are huge shoes to fill.
I would say so. Here is Kinsler. He is hitting .306, had a couple of hits in the ball game yesterday to bump his average up. And it's fouled down the right field line on a line. No balls, 1 strike on Kinsler.
Now that fastball at 91 thrown by CC. He won't get much above that these days.
CC, 34 years of age. He won't be 35 until July. He's out of Vallejo, California. Here's the 0-1. Kinsler behind in the count, 0-2 now.
And told you that CC has 4 different pitches. He's got the fastball, the slider, the changeup, and the curveball. But for the most part, he just uses the fastball and the slider to the righties. He'll mix in more changeup to the lefties.
That's lined to the left. A base hit for Ian Kinsler. 1 out single for the Tigers here in the first. And And that'll bring up Cabrera.
That's a fastball cutter actually at about 89 miles an hour left up in the strike zone that Ian Kinsler was able to turn on.
Cabrera 4 out of 10 in the series against Chicago. The average now 426. A couple of home runs this year. He's knocked in 10. One thing to keep an eye on this game, Rod, is the wind is blowing out to left field at a pretty good brisky pace tonight.
Yeah, any of the right-handed batters that have some sock in their bat, if they get anything up in the strike zone and get out in front of it and hit it to left, it's got a pretty good chance of carrying out of here. And this would be one of those guys, Miguel Cabrera.
Bouncing ball instead to third base. Headley cuts it off, fires to second one of the relay. There's a double play. They go 5-4-3 around the horn. No runs, a hit, nobody left, and we go to the second. Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank can be. When it's time, come to Comerica. Jeep, come in for great deals on the award-winning Jeep brand SUVs during the Jeep Awards season events. And Capri Sun, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. Back to work here as we go to the second, and the Yankees will send up Mark Teixeira. He is followed by Carlos Beltran, and then Brian McCann. Bouncing ball foul, first base side.
And Tigers play the shift on Mark Teixeira. And Castellanos, the third baseman, is anchored in shallow right field. And just about every time he puts the ball on the ground, it is in that direction.
Here's the 0-2. Lifted high in the air to right field and hit well. J.D. Martinez back to the track, to the wall. He looks up, and that ball is out of here and gone.
He hit that with one hand.
Mark Teixeira hits his fourth of the year. He swats it one-handed into the seats in right.
0-2 pitch thrown by Simon, and not a very good 0-2 pitch to allow Teixeira to play long ball here in the second inning. It's a split finger down at the bottom of the strike zone that's tailing away from Teixeira. He reaches out and catches it basically with one arm and is able to hit it at 331 feet from home plate.
Carlos Beltran looks at a strike on the inside part of the plate. Teixeira has just passed Lance Berkman for 5th among switch hitters in career home runs. 377 now for Teixeira. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the veteran Beltran. He looks at a ball high, 2-1. The same shift is being employed against Beltran here, batting 184. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Grounded foul, 2-2 on Beltran. Hit 15 home runs last year. Had some elbow surgery in the month of September. Late last season. And waiting on a 2-2 pitch. Here it is. It'll go foul down the right field line. Beltran's been suffering from a severe chest cold and missed a couple of games. He is back in their lineup here tonight. So he's probably not too thrilled about this weather that they're playing in this evening. A little misty, cool, windy here at the ballpark. Swing and a miss, and Simon strikes him out. Second strikeout for Alfredo.
A much better split-fingered fastball here, thrown by Simon, buried at the bottom of the zone that Beltran swung right over. And Castellanos will not have to move. They will simply play Brian McCann, who is also a dead pull hitter, in the same position he's played the last couple of hitters to Sharon Beltran.
That's 3 in a row now for Castellanos out there in short right. And that's sliced the other way. Cespedes on the move. He stretches out and can't get it. It'll go all the way to the wall. McCann is on his way to second. He will stop there with a 2-base hit.
That's the one thing that McCann has been working on a lot during the course of spring training in the first couple of weeks of the season, driving balls the opposite way. He was way too pull happy last year in his first year in a Yankee uniform and really didn't have a good year because he hit into the shift all season long.
It'll be the second extra base hit in this inning for the Yankees. And now Chase Headley steps in. 234 this year for Headley. He's got a couple of homers. And he looks at ball 1.
A lot of left-handed bats in Joe Girardi's lineup tonight. As a matter of fact, 7 of the 9 bat left-handed. A couple of switch hitters in there as well.
Well, coming into this game tonight, righties were 1 for 16 against Simon this year. And last year he held right-handed batters to a 238 clip. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chase Headley. Yankees lead it 1-0 on the home run by Teixeira. And the 1-1. Headley, a former Padre, good defensive third baseman, had one really huge year in San Diego. 31 homers, 115 RBIs.
He also performed pretty well last year after he was traded from San Diego to the Yankees.
Trying to drive in another run. McCann is at second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball foul. It'll go down the first baseline. Waiting on deck, Stephen Drew, the number 8 hitter. Simon coming off a tremendous start against the Pirates. He was in Pittsburgh in his last start. 8 strong innings. Here's the 1-2. That one floats outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Simon along with Shane Green, the 2 new pieces to the Tigers rotation this year.
They're 5-0. Shane Green's won 3 games. Simon, he's won 2.
And the numbers on Wednesday in his start against the Pirates. Didn't walk anybody. Swing and a miss. Henley is out of there. 3 strikeouts now for Alfredo.
He's going to continue to throw that tumbler up there all night long until the Yankees show him that they can lay off of it. Second strikeout he's gotten on that split-fingered fastball.
Hey, by the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select our Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by the 2 for $5 Classic Quarter Pounder with cheese. It's coming up after we complete this one here tonight. 2 down now for Drew, and he lines one foul to right field.
A lot of these New York Yankees have sub-200 batting averages coming into play tonight, but they have been hitting quite a few home runs as a team.
Yankees yesterday beat the Rays down in Tampa, sweeping that series. And they're in a long stretch right now of 25 of 35 games on the road away from Yankee Stadium. It sails outside 1-1.
The majority of their games also coming against the American League East. And just like the majority of the Tigers' first 6 weeks games coming against the American League Central.
Not sure many folks expected too much out of the Yankees this year, but they're off to a decent start, 6-6, just a game back out of the American League East.
Who do you like in that division? Boston?
I was just about to ask you that question because right now it is so jumbled up. And I know it's early, but I'm not sure I'm sold on Boston's rotation, though.
And Baltimore has a really good rotation, but Baltimore really didn't do much in the offseason. It allowed some of the other teams to catch up, like Boston, Yankees, Toronto.
Simon missing outside, 3-1 on Stephen Drew.
And this is one of those years where it appears that that division is wide open.
Yeah, based on the early returns, Baltimore right now leads the way along with Boston. 3-1. A run in on the Teixeira home run. Swing and a miss. 3-2.
He is so unpredictable. I mean, you got a guy standing 6 feet 6 inches that weighs 260 pounds, and he's got a power fastball, but that splitter, and you can see the grip. That's been a really good pitch for him so far today, and he's not afraid to throw it in fastball counts.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Oh, that's nasty.
4 strikeouts for Simon. Yankees get a run, though, on the home run by Mark Teixeira. And it's 1-0 New York.
Second on a chilly night here at Comerica Park, and this Saturday the Tigers face the Indians at 108, the 21st annual Negro Leagues tribute game happening that day. And the first 10,000 fans receive a Detroit Stars scarf. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or tigers.com. Now CC Sabathia back to work. And he's facing Victor Martinez, then J.D. Martinez, and Yoenis Cespedes. Victor batting .310, was 3 for 6 in the series against the Chicago White Sox. Had a big day yesterday. Scored 3 times. And CC missing again, 2-0.
Gives you an idea of just how talented Victor Martinez is. And most Tigers fans understand that he's not 100%, but yet the batting average sits over 300.
Yeah, the power numbers may be affected a little bit by the injury to Martinez, but he can certainly still swing it, and still is. There's a strike, 2-1. Martinez has hit a couple of home runs in his career against Sabathia.
They were once teammates when they both broke in together with the Cleveland Indians.
2-2 the count. Sabathia probably would have won the Rookie of the Year award when he was with the Indians had it not been for Ichiro back in 2001. CC had a big rookie season. Here's the 2-2. And Victor watches it bounce in. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
It used to be a time where CC Sabathia would throw you a fastball, 3 balls and 2 strikes, but not so much these days. We might see a changeup or another slow breaking ball.
Belted in the air toward left field. That ball is on a line. It is back, and it is up against the wall and caught by Brett Gardner.
That ball was hit right on the screws by Victor Martinez, a 3-2 fastball. I thought it had a chance to get out, but Brett Gardner able to run it down with his speed in left field.
How did that ball not go out? It was tattooed by Victor.
I was talking to J.D. Martinez in the clubhouse today. The last couple of days, he's hit a couple of balls to left field right on the screws, only to find them landing harmlessly in the left fielder's glove.
Well, here is Martinez, J.D. that is. .240 batting average for the Tigers right fielder. Swing and a miss. 5 homers this year for J.D. Nelson Cruz leads the American League with 8.
How about that, man? 8
Yeah.
homers in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Pretty good.
In a ballpark where the ball shouldn't fly like
No.
that. Seattle.
You're right. Legendary Lloyd's loving it.
And you know he is.
1 ball, 1 strike on J.D. Sabathia gave up a hit in the first, but then got a double play ball. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, well located 2-seam fastball tailing down and away from J.D. CC, as I told you earlier, has really good command, doesn't walk very many. He's always around the strike zone, whether it be with the 2-seamer, the cutter, his changeup, or his curveball.
And the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on J.D. Martinez. Here are the home run leaders we were talking about. It's Nelson Cruz, then J.D.
Adam Jones also off to a spectacular start this year.
Yeah, in fact, Jones now is leading the AL in hitting. Fouled off. Sabathia was one of those guys that got to the big leagues in a hurry. He was only 20 years old when he made his major league debut back in 2001 with the Indians. And along the way has piled up a pretty impressive record. Swing and a miss. First strikeout of the ball game for Sabathia. 2 gone. Time now for the T-Mobile Game Changer. Yoenis Cespedes has certainly been a game changer. The most 4 or more RBI games since 2013. Cespedes resides on that list.
He gets it done in bunches.
6 RBIs in the ball game yesterday, 4 of them on one swing of the bat, the grand slam off Quintana. Boy, his numbers are looking awfully healthy these days.
Right.
He's up to 300 now. And he skies this one in the air to center field. A lot of room out there for Jacoby Ellsbury. They'll run it down. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning here in the second. On our way to the third, and you're watching Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Back here at Comerica Park as we go now to the top of the third. Alfredo Simon back at the hill for the Tigers. It'll be Didi Gregorius leading it off, and then Jacoby Ellsbury and Brett Gardner. 1 run in for the Yankees on the leadoff home run by Mark Teixeira in the second. And Gregorius hits a ground ball to third. Castellanos throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 gone. Back up to the top of the order now, and Ellsbury. Jacoby grounded out to the first baseman Cabrera in the first inning. Ellsbury came in 4 for his last 7. Hit .271 last year. And he looks at a strike in the outside corner.
He's an outstanding baseball player. He's a 5-tool player, as a matter of fact. He can hit for average and power. And a really good defender. He's got some speed. He also has a decent throwing arm.
And had a chance to win an MVP award, but Justin Verlander beat him out a couple of years back.
Yeah, Justin was just too good that year, winning the Cy Young and the MVP.
2-1 on Ellsbury. That is sliced back out of play.
Even though you know that Simon is going to throw you lots of breaking balls and split-fingered fastballs, you have to respect his fastball because he can get all the way up to 96 miles an hour with his fastball. McCann wanted a fastball, but Simon wanted something off speed.
3-2 now on Ellsbury. And the 3-2. Grounded foul. Yankees have had obviously some really good center fielders in their history. Bernie Williams most recently was a terrific center fielder. Go back to Mickey Mantle, one of the great players in the game. Ellsbury patrolling center field these days in Yankees colors. Again the 3-2, again grounded to first base, and Cabrera handles this one. 2 gone. Time for a game break now as we go to the studio. Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. Well, the Red Sox getting a win. Talked about the very close, tight, early start of the American League East. As Gardner steps in, and he looks at ball 1. Really about the only division that doesn't have a clear leader right now is the Central. The Tigers off to that tremendous 10-2 start.
Yeah, Kansas City not going anywhere, though.
No. 2-0.
Kind of reminds me of the start that the '84 Tigers got off to. The Toronto Blue Jays really didn't go anywhere that year.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Bouncing ball off the glove of Cabrera into right field. It'll be a 2-out hit for Brett Gardner. And also the 3rd hit of the game now for the Yankees. And it keeps the inning going for Alex Rodriguez.
And Gardner has some speed. He already has 3 steals this year. He's been caught once.
Alex sitting right now at 658 home runs, which leaves him 2 shy of Willie Mays for 4th all-time in Major League history.
That's a lot of homers.
Skies that one back out of play. And in the career of Alex Rodriguez, he's also knocked in 1,980 runs, which is 5th on the list. Oh and 1 on Alex Rodriguez. We're in the 3rd, 1-0 Yankees. Good pitch by Simon. 0-2.
Marcus Timms, the former outfielder for the Detroit Tigers, told me that Alex would surprise a lot of people this year with the year that he was going to have offensively because he worked so hard in the offseason. Marcus is now the AAA hitting coach for the Yankees affiliate.
Well, I'm not sure anybody really knew what they would get out of Alex when you miss an entire season. Even Joe Girardi said, we didn't know. And they're certainly happy to see what they've gotten so far. Can he sustain it? We'll see. Look out. That pitch is over his head. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Girardi also went on to say that if anybody could do it, he felt like Alex could do it because he had tremendous work ethic. And there was a time that he was simply the best player in the game for a number of years.
Yeah, he had 14 seasons of at least 100 RBIs, and in many of those seasons, way more than 100.
Yeah, and work ethic has never been a problem for Alex. Simon's a big guy on the mound, but has a pretty good move over to first base. Might not be all bad to steal a bag here if you're Gardner. You know that Simon, for the most part, will throw something slow here to Alex. And the 1-2.
bounce in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, In the Driver's Seat is brought to you by Kia. And here's some numbers to look at. Fewest at bat per home run. Alex Rodriguez, a homer every 13.68 at bats. Only second to David Ortiz and barely second. Those numbers are against the Tigers' career. He's done some damage versus Detroit. Runner goes, and it gets away from McCann. It'll be an easy stolen base for Brett Gardner.
Yeah, McCann was able to get down and block it, but not able to prevent the ball from rolling 15 to 20 feet to his left, which allowed Gardner to scoot into second with his 4th steal of the year.
Full count now on Alex Rodriguez. And the 3-2. Bouncing ball to third. Nice hop for Castellanos. And that'll end the inning. So nothing comes to the single and the stolen base. 2.5 in the books. Yankees have the lead as we go to the bottom of the third tonight in a chilly Comerica Park. A little bit of wind. There was some drizzle falling a little bit earlier in the game, but that's cleared out. And now Nick Castellanos will lead it off for Detroit.
This is one of the chilliest evenings we've had the first couple of weeks of the year.
No doubt. And the wind has a lot to do with that, I think. There's a ball missing high to Nick.
Tigers hitters have really enjoyed the fact that the weather hasn't been all that bad in April. Typically, it is really cold the first 2 weeks of the season.
Now the 1-0 pitch. Seems like we always get good luck on opening day, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that always turns out to be a sunny day. Was again this year.
Another win for you as far as your DVD. When's your DVD going to drop?
Well, we put that money into the MVP program this year.
Oh, you did?
Tickets, yeah. Yeah, we've decided to get more folks out to the ballpark.
How could you do that? You haven't lost yet.
No, well, the Tigers continued their tradition of winning on opening day, thank goodness. Meanwhile, it's 3-0 on Nick Castellanos. McCann and then Iglesias to follow here in the third. Sabathia has faced the minimum through 2. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That's it for a strike, 3-1. Well, it's been a pretty good stretch here for Castellanos. Average up to 286 now, thanks to a 7-game hitting streak. Here's the 3-1 pitch. And it's a strike call, 3-2. Just about everybody wearing the sleeves tonight. And a strike call. Got him looking. Castellanos not so sure.
CC fell behind Castellanos 3 balls, no strikes, and came back to get him with 3 straight fastballs.
Let's check in with Justin White.
Hey Mario, I'm out here in section 112 with some Tigers fans who are here tonight courtesy of the Military Veterans Program, or MVP. This is the 3rd straight year that the Tigers, in conjunction with our own Mario Impemba and the Tigers Foundation, are saluting those who served and their families at every home game throughout the season. They get tickets and transportation to the game and a meet and greet with Mario before the game. Mario, I know you're very humble about this, but you do great work, and we all commend you for what you do for our country's veterans of Tigers baseball here.
All right, Justin, I appreciate it. Thanks very much. And that's a good-looking group from the Eisenhower Center, which is just outside of Ann Arbor, as they provide help to our veterans who are suffering from PTSD and brain injuries. So thanks for all they do, and we're glad they're able to enjoy Tigers baseball tonight. James McCann batting here with 1 out. CC is ahead 0-2, and it missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McCann batting 158, was 1 for 8 in that series against Chicago. That 1 hit was a triple to the gap in right center field. Here's the 1-2 offering. Bouncing ball foul right by Dave Clark.
And McCann having a difficult time of staying back on the off-speed pitches that CC Sabathia has thrown him. He has thrown him a changeup and also a curveball that McCann has been out in front of.
McCann at the plate, McCann behind the dish. They're not related. Fouled away. One ball and 2 strikes on James McCann. Really good year last year at AAA Toledo. Had nice offensive numbers, but just continues to gain a lot of recognition for his game calling abilities. And now McCann will step out. CC taking too long. Breeze still blowing here at the ballpark and blowing out toward left. And the 1-2. That floats outside. 2-2 on McCann.
If CC throws McCann anything but a breaking ball here, he might be doing him a favor. He has not been close to the off-speed pitches. And he's going to get another one of those changeups.
Popped up, shallow right field. Beltran coming in, circling under it. 2 up, 2 down for Sabathia here in the third. Well, the Bernstein advantage brings you the pitcher-batter matchup, and it looks like Jose Iglesias has the Bernstein advantage against CC Sabathia.
All singles, 5 for 11 for Iglesias, off to a spectacular start.
Jose now has hit safely in 5 consecutive games. .436 batting average for the Detroit shortstop. They're in tight at the corners defensively. Ball 1 high with a fastball from Sabathia. A couple of RBIs as well for Jose. Here's the 1-0. Slice to right, but foul.
The one thing that they preached to Jose Iglesias in spring training was just get some strikes. Make sure that when you swing the bat, it's something that you can handle, especially after spending the entire season on the disabled list last year. They weren't concerned with results. They just wanted to make sure that he honed in on the strike zone.
Right back up the middle into center field. He whistled that one right by CC Sabathia.
It's a 90-mile-per-hour fastball that they wanted inside, and it leaked right back over the heart of the plate. And the swing these days is just really, really consistent by Iglesias. Look at the concentration. The head directly down on the baseball, and he had some really nice rotation with the hips.
So here is Rajai Davis. The Tigers now have their second hit of the game. Rajai popped up back in the first inning. And is in there for a strike, 0-1. They want the appeal on this. Did not go, said Will Little. 1-1 on Davis, who gets the start against the lefty here.
Will Little all bundled up down there at first.
I'm not sure he can cover much more of his body, can he?
He can see, though.
Well, there goes the runner. Now Iglesias is caught. And CC's just going to run right at him and make the tie. So Iglesias picked off first base. That'll end the inning. No runs, one hit, and nobody left. 3 in the books here at the ballpark. Still 1-0 Yanks.
Happened Mark Teixeira's very first time up, got a tailing split-fingered fastball away from him from Simon. He was able to reach out and hit it over the 330 sign in right field for his 4th homer of the year.
And it'll be Teixeira to lead it off here in the 4th inning. 1-0 in favor of the Yankees. That has been it so far. Teixeira, then Beltran, and then McCann in the Yanks' 4th. Here's the 0-1. Fouled back 0-2.
When Simon was pitching in relief, he threw much harder back in his days with Baltimore in the first couple of years wearing a Cincinnati Reds uniform. He was one of those guys that had a fastball in the upper 90s, but it does not reach that velocity these days as a starter.
Simon last year establishing career highs in wins, starts, innings pitched in his All-Star season with the Reds. Tigers gave up Eugenio Suarez and pitching prospect Jonathan Crawford to get him. Swing and a miss. Teixeira is dispatched, one gone.
A heavy dose of off-speed pitches already thrown here tonight by Simon and the Yankees. For the most part, they have not been able to hit that splitter that he's bearing at the bottom of the zone.
One gone for Carlos Beltran. It sails outside, 1-0. Beltran, a much decorated hitter. He has hit 373 home runs in his career. That'll go foul just outside of the bag. 37 years of age now, Beltran.
He's had a nice career.
He's won some Gold Gloves, 3 of them to be exact.
Injuries have kind of caught up with him the last number of years, but there was a time where he was regarded as one of the better two-way players in the game.
And there you have it, a .280 lifetime hitter. Strike call by Tony Randazzo. 1-2 on Beltran.
Of the 57 pitches that Simon has thrown, about 45% of those have been off-speed pitches.
Here's your spot, Rod.
Oh, you know it. We're going to go up there one day.
There's a bouncer back up the middle. Kinsler on the backhand. 2 gone.
And when we do, the first one's on me.
I'm going to take you up on that. Because I don't think I've ever heard those words before.
Yeah. First one on me.
The New Amsterdam 416 area out there in right field. What a gorgeous spot. What a gorgeous shot that is. And with 2 outs, here is Brian McCann. He had a 2-base hit. That was back in the second. Did not score, though. Simon stranded him. And it's in for a strike.
And Brian McCann had a lot of great numbers catching for the Atlanta Braves, but he hit the free agent market before last offseason and decided to sign with the Yankees. He did not have a good year last year from an offensive standpoint.
Well, he batted only .232. He did hit 23 home runs. He is the only catcher to hit 20 or more home runs 7 consecutive years now. But that average very low. Shift on for him as well. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 on McCann.
He is using that split-fingered fastball in every location. Some are up in the strike zone, some are buried at the bottom of the strike zone, some are fading away from the left-handed hitter. An Ephus pitch.
Toward left field, long run for Cespedes, not going to get there. Boy, Iglesias was on a dead sprint too.
He can cover some ground.
And you really, you had to wait because Iglesias was covering a lot of ground quickly to see if he might get there.
Well, it's really no problem when they decide to overshift with Castellanos because Iglesias can cover that whole left side of the infield by himself.
One ball, 2 strikes on McCann.
It's a big old chain that Cespedes has on.
You noticed, did you?
5 deuce. Number 52.
That's grounded to the first baseman Cabrera. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. 5 deuce. Well, they're having a good time at the ballpark tonight out there in right field. Tigers got to get the bats going. The fourth inning here at Comerica Park on a chilly evening. Top of the order coming up. Rajay Davis will start things off. Facing Sabathia. And Rajay looks at strike one at the knees. It was at the plate when Iglesias was picked off in the bottom of the third. Davis at 241, popped up to the shortstop. Gregorius back in the first inning. Here's the 0-1. It's not going to feel too good on a night like tonight. Rajay trying to walk it off right now. Sabathia gave up a single in the first, a single in the third. Otherwise, the Tigers have not been able to get a whole lot going tonight against the veteran lefty, who is seeking his first win since April 24th of last year. He had surgery last season, which short-circuited his year. The 0-2. Just missed it. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Sabathia strikes him out. One gone in the fourth.
Well, both pitchers today have really good off-speed pitches. It's Simon with the split-fingered fastball, and it's CC Sabathia with that really slow curveball that he can throw over the plate whenever he wants to at about 79 miles an hour.
Here's Kinsler now, who's singled in the first, but was erased later on a double play ball off the bat of Cabrera. Ian up to 320. And Kinsler this year has hit safely in 9 of the 13 the Tigers have played. Made an all-star team again last year for the 4th time in his career, his first with Detroit. Ball high, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Tigers and Yankees have some history between them. In fact, the Tigers have defeated the Yanks in some recent postseasons. The 2012 ALCS, they beat them in 2011, and of course 2006 in the ALDS, which was the start of their march to the World Series. That's hit the other way and through, a base hit. 2 for 2 for Ian Kinsler.
It's a really nice job by Ian Kinsler, who continues to get better at driving the ball the other way. He wasn't over aggressive here against CC because he's throwing so many off-speed pitches, and he allowed the fastball to get deep enough that he created the bat angle to whistle that ball right past the second baseman, Stephen Drew. I really like the way that Ian Kinsler is starting to use the entire field this year.
Well, it's averaged well over 300 now as Cabrera stands in.
He has always been known as a dead pull hitter.
Miggy a double play ball his last time up, and sends another ground ball to third. This might be another one. 5-4-3. It's a double play, the second of the night, bounced into by Miguel Cabrera. 4 innings played here at Comerica Park, and the Yanks still lead 1-0. to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Meyer, save big with M-Perks from Meyer. Sign up at mperks.com. Back here at the ballpark, as we go to the fifth inning, it's 1-0 in favor of the Yankees. And the Yankees facing Alfredo Simon, a swing and a miss by Chase Headley to start it off.
And Headley got a fastball at 92 that Simon was able to throw right by him.
Shift on for Headley as the 0-1 comes home. And it's ripped right into the shift, but right by Castellanos into right field. Leadoff single for Chase Headley. That was after Simon had gotten a 1-2-3 fourth inning. Stephen Drew, a strikeout victim his last time up. Drew batting just 162. Had a pinch hit grand slam the other day against the Orioles. It was his third home run of the season, so while the average is down, he has hit a couple of home runs this year, 3 to be exact. Yanks really have not been able to do a whole lot since the leadoff home run by Teixeira in the second. They've had their share of base runners, but Simon has buckled down. Bouncing ball, second base side, Kinsler. Iglesias relays a double play.
Boy, does Iglesias have some quick hands, and what a slide by Headley. Ian Kinsler shuffled this ball over to Iglesias underhanded, and that allowed Headley a couple of extra steps to get there to upend Iglesias, but Iglesias still athletic enough to complete the double play.
So the bases are empty now and a strike called. You see that Headley still had the ability to touch second base with his arm, which made that a legal slide. He went after Iglesias to try and upend him. And a good hard play. Gregorius looks at a ball that bounces in and goes to the backstop.
That's one of the things that we've already seen this year. We've already seen quite a few guys with very aggressive slides in the second base. I think Jonathan Scope of the Baltimore Orioles ended up on the disabled list, an aggressive slide in the second. And Alcides Escobar has missed a few games with an aggressive slide in the second base.
Yeah, and that whole situation has turned ugly.
It has gotten ugly.
With Brett Laurie and Kelvin Herrera throwing at his head last night.
Herrera throws 100 miles an hour. That's not good.
Simon ready with the 1-2. And he chops that one down the first base line, and he's going to. Oh, it's fair ball.
Nice job by Simon.
Great job by Alfredo, who picked it up just before it went foul, and they get Gregorius. No runs hit, nobody left. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire.
big guy. He can really field his position, and this is just a really nice job of grabbing the ball right off the chalk line, which means it's a fair ball, knowing exactly where the runner was. Didi Gregorius able to pick it up and throw him out. A very nice job there of concentrating to pick up the ball first.
So it remains a very tight ball game here. Sabathia goes back to the hill as we play in the 5th inning, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Yanks. Victor leads it off and takes ball 1.
CC kind of dialed in here today. Really hasn't given the Tigers a whole lot to hit. He is staying out of the middle of the plate. He is working all 4 quadrants of the strike zone with his fastball, and he's mixed in some nice curveballs and some nice changeups.
There's a strike called, 1-1.
Borderline strike there. If you're CC Sabathia, though, you know that you have to be on top of your game coming in here to play the Tigers. As hot as they've been from an offensive standpoint all year.
Fly ball hit well to right center field. Ellsbury on the run, sliding out there in right center to make a terrific catch.
Man, can he cover some ground.
You're not kidding. Martinez looked to hit what was going to be a double into the gap in right center.
As soon as that ball was hit, it was tailing away from the center fielder, Ellsbury, but he got on his horse and he was able to run this thing down. He needed a dive to make the play, but what a spectacular catch by Jacoby Ellsbury.
Great play by Ellsbury, who just stretched out. And even after hitting the turf, able to hold on to the baseball. Well, that came in handy for Sabathia. Took a double away as J.D. Martinez stands in.
If you're J.D. Martinez, you could sit on an off-speed pitch or 2 until you get 2 strikes. CC's thrown so many, you're bound to get 1 or 2 of them. Here comes one of them.
Lines it toward left field, sinking, and another sprawling play. This one by Brett Gardner.
We talked about Ellsbury and also Gardner at the top of the show, and the fact that both guys have really good speed. As a matter of fact, Gardner is a center fielder by trade. And both guys have made real nice plays to bail out CC Sabathia here in the 5th.
CC living large this inning.
CC going to go buy them boys dinner when they have a day game.
You can afford it.
You can.
Two gone now. And a strike call. Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes fly to center field in his first at bat. Here's the 0-1. Sabathia has been helped out by 2 double play balls tonight, both of them off the bat of Miguel Cabrera. Fouled back out of play.
Good day for Yoenis Cespedes yesterday, homering twice. One was a grand slam. Both came off the Chicago White Sox starter, Jose Quintana, who really doesn't give up a whole lot of home runs, but Cespedes shot him twice yesterday afternoon. Monster game for Yoenis.
Checked it. Did he go? He did not. Two balls, 2 strikes now on Cespedes. Waiting on deck, Nick Castellanos. 1 run, 4 hits tonight for the Yankees. No runs, 3 hits for Detroit. way outside. Now Sabathia ready with the 3-2. Cespedes strikes out swinging. And Sabathia picks up another punch out. That'll be his 4th of the game. 1-2-3, 5th with a little bit of help from his defense, though. Still 1-0. One nothing as we go to the 6th inning here at Comerica Park. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, Simon back to the hill. He's been locked in a good one tonight with CC Sabathia. 6th inning is underway. It's a ball outside. Yankees have the top of their lineup. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off, then Gardner, and then Alex Rodriguez. Right back up the middle and through the wickets into center field. Ellsbury leadoff single. Yankees have their 5th hit now, and that'll bring up Brett Gardner.
Brett Gardner, really the perfect guy to bat second. When you've got a guy like Ellsbury, your leadoff hitter that has really good speed, because he can pull the ball between first and second, because Miguel Cabrera has to hold on Ellsbury, and you add the fact that more than likely he'll get a fastball or two with Ellsbury on first base.
He'll draw a throw. Jacoby's attempted 4 this year. He's been successful in 2 of those attempts.
Yeah, he was thrown out in their game last night against the Tampa Bay Rays.
There he goes. Here's the throw from McCann on the money. Got it.
What a throw by James McCann.
You cannot make it better than that, can you?
That's got to be 1.8, 1.9 seconds from the time McCann gets this ball in his glove into the glove of Ian Kinsler. What a throw.
Oh, man.
That's why they love him.
What a laser.
Ellsbury had a good jump.
Base is empty. 1 out.
Now Simon with the 1-0 pitch. Ball high, 2-0 on Brett Gardner. Three balls, no strikes. Here's the ratio on Alfredo Simon. 75 he was throwing now. 47 strikes. That's in there. 3-1 on Gardner.
He's got a lot of late movement on that two-seam fastball at 92 miles an hour. Nothing that Simon has thrown here today has been straight.
Bouncing ball left side. Iglesias, tough play, quick release, got him.
Stop it, Jose.
What a play by Jose Iglesias, who night after night after night just continues to get it done.
He is worth the price of admission just to watch play defense. Look at how quickly he gets this ball out of his glove, on its way back to third base, throwing off balance and throwing accurately. Oh my goodness.
It is startling that he could get as much as he did on that throw for as quick as he got rid of it.
And last time I checked, Gardner was pretty fast.
Still is. 2 outs, base is empty.
That boy can play some defense.
Both teams flashing the glove tonight. Rodriguez looks at a ball inside, 1-0. Ground out, strikeout.
That play by Iglesias. It got this crowd buzzing.
1-0 pitch. Rolled foul, 1-1.
He's done a nice job of crowding A-Rod with good two-seam fastballs in on his hands, only to get to the slower breaking balls and the splitters.
Alex Rodriguez, the longest tenured current Yankee. Down the right field line, tailing away. 1-2 on Alex. Strikeout, ground out in this game. Now Simon ready with the 1-2. Wouldn't chase it. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Alex Rodriguez. 39 years old now, broke into the big leagues at age 18. There have only been 2 other shortstops that have broken in at age 18. Tony La Russa, Robin Yount. Going back a ways for both of those players. A-Rod did it with the Seattle Mariners. Now Simon's 2-2. Fouled off. Alex just got a piece of that one.
It may not be a bad time to go upstairs around the letters with a fastball to Alex. He probably would not be able to lay off of it after throwing in so many off-speed pitches. Just make sure you get it high enough.
All right, but threw it behind his head.
That's the second time he's done that to Alex today. Missing with a really slow breaking ball at about 73 miles an hour, right over his head.
So it's a full count now on Alex Rodriguez. Teixeira with bat next if A-Rod reaches. There's the 3-2. Popped him up. Shallow right field. Kinsler drifting back. And that'll be it for the Yankees. Well, you got to credit Jose Iglesias with another spectacular play.
Yarmick, and maybe they'll get it right here in the 6th. They've got Castellanos leading it off, facing lefty CC Sabathia. He's been awfully good tonight. Helped out by his defense as well. A couple of great plays in the outfield behind Sabathia. Castellanos, then McCann, and then Iglesias. 7, 8, 9 in the Tigers lineup. Ellsbury, a great diving play in right center, and likewise Gardner in the left in that last half inning. And Sabathia had a 1-2-3 fifth. Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Castellanos. Sabathia struck him out back in the 3rd. 7-game hit streak going for Nick, which is one shy of last year's career high of 8. He did that a couple of times last year. Now the 0-2. Low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. James McCann waiting on deck. Now Sabathia with the 1-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Castellanos. Sabathia last year made only 8 starts because of knee surgery in July. Former Cy Young winner back in 2007. Ooh, that one just missed. Sabathia wanted it, didn't get it. Now it's 3-2. Here's the 3-2. Nick takes ball 4. Worked himself a walk after falling behind 0-2. Leadoff man on for the Tigers. Well, see the Tigers play the Yankees tomorrow through Thursday. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 bags of chips, and 4 drinks, all for $76. It's called the Weekday Value Pack. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. That is the first walk allowed tonight by Sabathia.
And the Yankees, they do not think that McCann is up there bunting.
And he's not. Ground ball to 3rd. How about this? Are they going to get another double play? They are. 5-4-3, the 3rd turn tonight by the Yankees infield.
And all of them have been the same. 5-4-3. Headley to Drew and back to Teixeira. Yeah, several of the Yankees hitters are having a difficult time of staying back on all the off-speed stuff that CC's been throwing today.
So with 2 outs.
Well, yesterday Tigers turned 4 double plays.
Here's Iglesias. You're right, man. If CC goes out and win this game, dinner's on him tonight.
Yeah?
For his infield and his outfielders. Iglesias singled, was picked off his last at bat. A little bit of rain starting to fall. Looks more of a drizzle.
The Yankees got off to a really slow start defensively, committing quite a few errors in their first 8 games of the year, but they did not make any mistakes in that just completed series down in Tampa where they swept the Rays.
The Tigers, meanwhile, have been one of the best defensive teams in baseball. They've committed just 3 errors all year long. Ground ball left side. Headley has the nice high hop, and he'll throw him out. Promising start. A walk. They'll leave none. It's still 1-0.
between Mark Teixeira and Alfredo Simon. The first at-bat for Teixeira resulted in a solo home run. Then he came back with an identical split-fingered fastball that he buried at the bottom of the strike zone to strike him out the second time he came up.
Well, Simon back out there now in the 7th inning. Still 1-0. The Teixeira home run led off the second, and that's been it. We'll knock this one the other way, sailing back toward the seats. Rain falling right now at the ballpark. Temperature has dropped to 49 right now.
Coming down pretty good now.
Yeah, and the wind has certainly been a factor here tonight. It's made it even that much more cooler temperature-wise. Here's the 1-1. Beltran waiting on deck. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Iglesias will charge it. Teixeira's an easy out, one gone. Fan Saturday, MLB returns to Fox Sports 1, starting with an American League Central battle. The Indians take on your Tigers in a game that can be seen only on Fox Sports 1. Then it's the return of the Subway Series, Yankees battling the Mets. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern on America's home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. That ball darts low, a fastball missing to Beltran.
And Cleveland having a tough time of it first couple of weeks of the season. They've only won 4 games. They've lost 7. They're in 4th place in the Central.
Did you see, by the way, who's leading the American League West?
No, I didn't look.
Houston.
Are they really?
Yeah, but it's only, I mean, they're 6-6.
Good for them.
Good for them is right. They've really scuffled the last couple of years. Here's the 2-0. Chopper slowly to the right side. Foul.
There are some people that believe that just a couple of years away from really having a lot of success is the Houston Astros with all the talent that they have.
Yeah, they've had some of their big timers come up. Of course, we talked about George Springer. They've got Mark Capel down in the minor leagues.
Altuve pitcher led the world in hits last year. Well over 200.
2-1 on Beltran. 1-0 Yankees lead. There's a strike call.
And Beltran was not looking for a fastball there. He was looking for something off speed because Simon has thrown so many off speed pitches and this fastball count.
Swing and a miss.
What a game by Simon. Here's that split-fingered fastball grip, and depending on how he grips it, he can get that ball to dance from the left-handers, or he can get it to dance down and in to the left-handers as well. It's moving all over the place.
Simon had 5 strikeouts combined in his first 2 starts. He has 6 tonight, and he's ahead of Brian McCann, 0-1.
His command also has been good. He hasn't walked a batter.
Working at a brisk pace. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball low, 2-1. Alfredo still looking for his first career win against the American League East. He's made 12 starts against the East. He'll need some offensive help tonight. He's given up just the 1 run. On the edge, 2-2 on Brian McCann. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. And McCann throws down to first to complete the strikeout. 7 of them now for Alfredo Simon. Coming up is the Dick Scott Automotive 7th inning stretch.
Sabathia no longer has that blazing fastball, 95, 97, but what he really knows how to do is pitch. Good breaking balls, good changeups, well-located fastballs. Tigers have been able to do very little tonight against CC Sabathia.
Well, maybe that'll change as you look at the numbers on Sabathia. 69 pitches in this game, 6 innings, 3 hits. He's faced the minimum. And that's because his teammates have turned 3 double plays behind him.
You got a couple of huge men on the mound tonight for their respective squads. And CC Sabathia, 6'7". Alfredo Simon, he is 6'6". But neither guy really trying to overpower you.
Here's the 0-1. Doesn't always take that mid-90s to upper 90s fastball, does it?
No, it doesn't, especially when you have the secondary pitches and the confidence that both CC Sabathia and Simon have in their off-speed pitches.
Here's the 1-1. Bouncing ball back up the middle. There's a base hit for Rajai Davis. In a 1-0 ball game, leadoff man is on here in the 7th.
Well, you wonder what the Tigers will do here. Ian Kinsler does have the ability to bunt, whether it be a sacrifice or whether he be bunting for a base hit. And if you do get Rajai in the scoring position, then obviously you've got Miguel, you've got Victor behind Ian Kinsler. Headley about even with the bag at third.
Sabathia has not gotten Kinsler out tonight. 2 for 2, both singles. Try to hold up. Ian's batting average up to 333 again. Here's the 0-1. High, towering fly ball to left. Gardner coming over to the corner to make the catch. Rajai tagging up. And he'll move up. So the tying run in scoring position now with 1 out.
Miguel Cabrera has hit into 2 double plays already today. Both of those he's hit down toward third base. Miguel in this situation will probably shorten up his swing and look to drive something the opposite way. He does not want to get out in front of another off-speed pitch and hit it down toward Headley, the third baseman.
Miguel with 10 RBIs. Number 11 is standing at second.
And Drew, the second baseman, playing basically directly behind second base, leaving a huge hole on the right side of the infield for Mickey.
Big time matchup here, Sabathia and Miguel Cabrera. And a ground ball left side. Gregorius with a backhanded play, throws to second, safe, but they'll still have time to get Cabrera.
What a gamble there by Gregorius, and a heads-up play by the second baseman Drew to still get the out at first. Didi Gregorius reminds me a lot of Pokey Reese, former middle infielder for the Boston Red Sox.
That was a great pick.
Oh, he's got the glove now, but he's off to a really bad start offensively, Gregorius.
So with 2 outs, Victor Martinez may not hit here. Nope. He'll walk it. Sabathia now has 75 pitches.
Was that the 4th time already this year Victor's been walked intentionally?
Sounds about right.
Yep, number 4.
They would rather take their chances with J.D. Martinez. Also set up a force at any base. Here comes ball 4, missing outside. Intentional walk now puts 2 Tigers on. That'll bring up J.D. So Sabathia has been able to navigate through Miguel Cabrera tonight. He wants no part of Victor Martinez here.
That's a good call by Joe Girardi, the manager of the New York Yankees. Why mess with Victor, in this situation. JD obviously off to a really good year from a power standpoint, but the batting average not real high. Girardi trying to get McCann's attention.
JD now at 231. He's hit 5 homers, 10 RBIs. Yankees lead 1-0. We're in the 7th.
Tigers have been outstanding in these types of situations all year long. Runners on base with 2 outs.
Only the Royals have a higher team average overall than the Tigers. Royals at 313. Tigers came in at 305. On the outer edge, 1-1 on J.D. Martinez. Simon and Sabathia hooked in a good one here tonight. Line drive off the glove of Gregorius into left field. That'll get a run in. Davis comes around to score, and we are tied. They walk Victor, and JD comes through.
And one of the few mistakes CC has made today with that changeup, and J.D. Martinez just about undressed Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, and Rajay Davis, who led off with a single, able to come home and score to tie the score at 1.
The 11th RBI of the year for J.D. Martinez.
Really nice, patient at bat by J.D., who knows that they're going to walk Victor Martinez quite a bit this year to get to him. And the key is to stay within yourself, not try to do too much. He didn't try to do too much in that at bat.
JD now leads the team in RBIs with 11. Here is Cespedes to try and give the Tigers their first lead.
He can get you 3 more runs in a hurry with his power.
On the edge, strike 1 on Cespedes. Yoenis tonight with a fly ball and a strikeout. That is the 5th Tigers hit in this game, so both ball clubs have 5 hits. And with 2 outs and men in scoring position this year, Cespedes has been dynamite. Back up the middle into center. Base hit. Here comes Martinez lumbering around third. The throw will cover third base. A run will score. J.D. Martinez caught in a run down. But the run will score for the Tigers as Cespedes knocks in the go-ahead run. Back-to-back RBI hits, and the Tigers have their first lead.
replacement is getting hits off CC Sabathia. I really like the base running here of J.D. Martinez with Victor gimping with that bad knee. Instead of him allowing them to make the play at home plate, he simply ran into an out here, J.D. Martinez, to make sure that the Tigers scored that second run. Not sure whether they would have thrown Victor out anyway, but I don't have no problem with him giving himself up there, J.D. Martinez.
Well, they've got no problem with taking the lead either. The Tigers up for the first time in this game. 2-1 is our score. Chase Headley leads it off. Alfredo Simon back out there. Headley, Drew, and Gregorius. And Alfredo hits the corner, 1-1.
You know, one of the things that we've been talking about since spring training is just how difficult it is for any pitcher to get through this Tigers lineup 3 and 4 times in any game. And today they got to CC Sabathia third time around.
Now Simon, who gave up just the 1 run on the Teixeira home run in the second and has put up 0 since, trying to keep it that way. He's just crossed the 100 plateau at 101. And that's fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Chase Headley. There is some activity in the Tigers bullpen. The lefty is Ian Kroll. Righty, Jabba Chamberlain. And the 2-2. Checked it, foul.
No disrespect to the 2 that are warming up, but Brett Ausmus would simply like to bypass those 2 and allow Simon to get 3 more outs here and turn the ball over to Joakim Soria.
And that would be a plan that has worked fabulously. Soria has been really good as the fill-in closer for Nathan. That slice toward left center field. Trouble. It's down. Davis goes over to cut it off. Can he hold him to a single? He will. Rajay got to that ball quickly.
That's what speed does. Able to cut that ball off to prevent Headley from getting himself a double. Here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. 94 has been the top fastball so far today, thrown by Simon.
Here is Stephen Drew. Bunting. Simon. Sacrifice advances the runner. So put the tying run now in scoring position for Didi Gregorius. It has been a fun one to watch tonight with Sabathia and Simon doing terrific work.
And Gregorius off to a really slow start, batting only 179. No need in really throwing him a strike on the first pitch. He's very aggressive these days, and with a runner in scoring position, more than likely Gregorius will leave the strike zone and swing at something out of the zone.
Strike call. Gregorius is part of that 3-team trade that brought Shane Green to the Detroit Tigers. Tonight, the Tigers 2 out of 3 with men in scoring position. Nothing happening for the Yanks. Their only run coming on the home run by Teixeira to lead off the second. Wave and a miss, 0-2.
That forkball today that Simon has been featuring has been on point all night. Disguises at a strike, and as soon as you start your swing, next thing you know, the ball's bouncing.
Well, he's got Gregorius on his heels now, 0-2. Just got a piece of it, staying alive. A couple of ground outs. Gregorius hit one down the first base line his last time up, and Simon came out to make a really good play on it.
And Simon up to 108 pitches. He also threw 108 his last outing against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
slice to center field. That's a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third. Bobbled now by Davis, but he'll get it back in. So Gregorius was down on the count 0-2, and he singles to center. He's going to bring out Brad Ausmus. Pitch count at 109 on Simon. He's going to come out of this game. Tigers will be going to the bullpen with Jacoby Ellsbury due up. And it's going to be a Wallside Windows pitching change here. Simon will get a nice round of applause with a terrific effort tonight. We'll be back. Law firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And Chevrolet, find new road. Back here at Comerica Park, Jabba Chamberlain coming out of the Detroit bullpen.
Well, it's really not often that the manager will go to the bullpen and bring in a right-hander to go after the left-hander. But in this case, and Jabba Chamberlain has outstanding numbers in his career against Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury in 28 at-bats, only batting a buck and some change against Chamberlain.
So Jabba goes to work. Runners at the corners, and only one out. Luke down the third base line, foul. Ellsbury is single in 3 at-bats. Tigers fell behind 1-0, scored 2 in the 7th to go ahead. And now the Yankees are threatening. Chamberlain replaces Simon here in the 8th. The 0-1 is a ground ball back up the middle. Kinsler, Iglesias, and a double play.
Whoa, I see you, Jabba.
4-6-3. Chamberlain comes on to get the big ground ball. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers still lead 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and CC Sabathia goes back to work.
So far, the call of the game by the manager, Brad Austin, is bringing the right-hander in to go up against Jacoby Ellsbury, but there was a lot of history there.
Castellanos, then McCann, then Iglesias facing Sabathia, whose pitch count has been in great shape all night. Hensey is still in there in the 8th. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball left side. Gregorius can't get it. Leadoff single, and let's check in now with Justin White.
Hey Mario, heck of a ball game here tonight, and we'll recap it all coming up after the game on Tigers Live. Mickey York and Craig Monroe are in the Coliseum studios, and I'll chat with Alfredo Simon and others inside the Tigers clubhouse. That's right after the game. Mario and Rod, back to you for now.
All right, Justin, and the hope is you'll be talking to some happy Tigers. No doubt about that. Tigers right now holding on to a 1-run lead. Castellanos coming out of the game. They'll get a pinch runner in there. That'll be Romine.
And Romine more than likely was going to enter the contest anyway as the defensive replacement in the top half of the 9th.
Here's James McCann. Showing bunt, and he lays it down. Nicely done. About as good as you can do that. Sacrifice advances him. Tigers trying to get that insurance run.
And Chevrolet brings you the high-strength steal of the game. It was Jose Iglesias a couple of innings ago. It was Brett Gardner, the left fielder, bidding for a single. Iglesias took about 4 or 5 steps to his right, got rid of the ball, throwing off balance, and threw accurately to Miguel Cabrera. What a player.
Now he can give the Tigers a little bit of a cushion here. There's a ball outside, 1-0. Iglesias, a base hit and a ground out. Sabathia now has surrendered 7 hits. Simon, terrific effort tonight again. Ball high and away, 2-0. Davis on deck. Iglesias takes high and away. 3-0 now on Jose. Action in the Yankees bullpen.
I would not be afraid to give Iglesias the green light right here. As well as he's been swinging the bat all year, he's going to get a fastball from Sabathia.
He's taking strike call, 3-1. 6-game hitting streak now for Iglesias. .439 batting average. And he takes another for strike 2 call. Iglesias was about a step toward first base. Looked a touch inside, according to Mr. Fox Tracks. Full count. And he walked. Two on now with 1 out.
That last fastball awfully close.
Whoa.
How in the world does he take that?
Don't know. And you could see that Iglesias himself wasn't sure that was a walk. A little hesitation as he went down to first base. David Carpenter has been warming up in their bullpen.
And both guys have some speed on the base paths. That would be Romine and Iglesias if they're thinking about a double steal.
Rajay had a single, scored a run in the 7th inning. 1 for 3 tonight. He'll get back out of play 0-1. Back out of play again. This one back in the seats. 0-2 the count on Rajay Davis. Well, to no one's surprise, Joaquin Soria warming up at the Detroit bullpen. He'll take over when we get to the ninth. Question is, how big will the Tigers' lead be? Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Big strikeout there for Sabathia. 2 gone. Going to take a 2-out hit now from Ian Kinsler.
Well, he already has a couple of hits here this evening against CC Sabathia, but Joe Girardi going to leave him in.
5 strikeouts for Sabathia. Two out of 3 tonight for Kinsler. Romine, the pinch runner at second base. Iglesias at first. Ball 1 to Kinsler.
That has been pretty much the best fastball that CC has thrown here today. 91 miles an hour. He has pitched a really good game for his team.
To this point, they've only been able to get 1 run on the home run by Teixeira, who, by the way, is due when we get to the ninth. They'll have 2, 3, and 4. High fly ball, right field. And it's going to be caught on the run by Beltran. So the Tigers get a couple of base runners. They leave 2 and hang on. We go to the ninth. call now for the Yankees, and Joakim Soria will come in to try and get the final 3 outs of this game.
And Joakim Soria is perfect in save opportunities. He has 4 in 4 chances. He's been in 7 games prior to tonight.
Gardner, Rodriguez, and Teixeira to face him here in the 9th. And the first one is low, 1 ball, no strikes. Here are the career numbers for Soria against the 3 guys he'll face. A-Rod's got the best numbers.
A-Rod hitting 600 against Soria.
That's a quick addition right there. That's pretty good.
Right?
1 ball, 1 strike. Gardner had a single back in the 3rd. Romine stays in the game to play 3rd base. That one just missed. 2-1. Here's Alex Rodriguez on deck. Tigers got 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning to take a 1-run lead. Wow. That was 3-1. Trying to get that leadoff runner on. Fouled away. 3-2 now on Brett Gardner. Missed a couple of games with a bad wrist last week. Here against Soria, who has taken over as the Tigers closer with Joe Nathan on the DL. And a bouncing ball to second. Easy play, Kinsler, 1 gone.
Here is the 1-800 call Sam call of the game. Simon, who was masterful for 7 innings here today, ran into some trouble, and Brad Osmus went to the bullpen, not to bring in the left-hander Ian Kroll to go after Ellsbury, but the right-hander Jamba Chamberlain, and Jamba got Ellsbury to hit into a double play.
Well, Brad Osmus certainly made the right call there, pushed the right button.
I mean, how many times are you going to get Jacoby Ellsbury to hit into a double play?
Yeah, good point. Here is Alex Rodriguez. 0 for 3 in this game. Soria missing outside. 1-0.
Still quite a bit of wind blowing out toward left field. So if you're Soria, if A-Rod's going to beat you, you got to make sure he hits the ball into center field, right center field. Can't give him anything to pull.
That one's to dead center field, but a lot of room out there for Davis. 2 gone. Well, Sunday, April 26th, the Tigers battle the Indians in 108. Come early for a special on-field salute to Tigers great Lou Whitaker. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Lou Whitaker show turn on the fastball, man.
He turned a double play, too.
He was a nice player.
Here is Teixeira. Crowd to his feet. Strike 1 is called.
Soria doesn't throw as hard as he used to throw when he was closing for the Kansas City Royals, but he still has outstanding command with that fastball.
Just off the plate, 1-1. Solo home run off Simon back in the 2nd. Alfredo hoping that Soria can just nail this one shut. Yeah, it's in there, a strike. 1-2 on Mark Teixeira. $27,000 plus. Ooh, we thought about it. 2-2. Joakim trying to make it 5 for 5 in the save category. Here's the 2-2. Fly ball, center field. Should do it. Davis is there, and the Tigers win again.
What an outstanding victory tonight for the Tigers. Sabathia was outstanding for the Yankees, but this Tigers team, man, they just can't lose right now.
The Tigers, with their victory tonight, are now 11-2. Best record in the major leagues.
Let's take a look at the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. They were having no success at all against the Sabathia until the 7th inning. Rajai Davis leads off with a single. Kinsler flies out to left. Rajai Davis tags up. He gets to second base. Then they walk Victor Martinez to get to J.D. and singles by J.D. and also Cespedes. Both guys off to torrid starts this year. Gave the Tigers the 2 runs that they would need to back Alfredo Simon.
So the Tigers take game 1 of the series. Celebrate here tonight at the ballpark. 2-1 your final score. We'll be back.